Uh, Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not a blogger, so I can't really tell you what it takes to become a good blogger. I'm somebody who operates on the advertising side of the business. Um, I run a digital agency. What I can speak to you about is why, as somebody who tries to build brands in the online space today, why do brands need bloggers? Um, Couple of questions, and I'd like to make this an interactive session and not just me giving gyan. How many of you remember this? Is it TVC? Yeah, it's the Star Sports Mocha Mocha commercial, right? This one? The Nescafe one, right? Do you remember where you saw them first? Okay. Were you entertained? Anag just spoke about how he's the same offline and online. So my question is, I think he made a really important statement there. Does it really matter where you saw these commercials? The only thing that you care about is, did I like it? And did I like it enough to talk about it? Which basically in the online space means, have I tweeted about it? Have I shared it? Have other people responded to it? That's all we care about when it comes to communication from brands. We don't really care anymore about kaun se channel pe aaya tha, did I see it on YouTube, did I see it on Facebook, did somebody tweet it to me? These are irrelevant questions today. Because the consumer has moved on from this offline-online debate. For the consumer, and I keep sort of saying that there are no consumers in the online space, there are only audiences. You're a consumer only if you're on an e-commerce portal. Otherwise, you're an audience. We are all online because our friends are online. We are not online because brands are online. Brands are online because we are online. So it's changed a lot of things about how the so-called consumers, who I now call audiences, behave online. One big truth, and some of these slides might seem very sort of familiar and 101 to you. I just request your patience. The TVCs that we know run for 60 days at the most if you have big budgets. Otherwise, they barely run for a month. But people talk about it for 365 days. And what do they talk about? They might talk about your brand, but more often than not, they talk about what interests them. They don't necessarily mention your brand in their conversations online. So one of the things which happens is that traditional media, once the campaign is over, gives up its audience. So all the money that you put into your TVC and your print ad and your outdoor for 30 days to 60 days, the next time you come out with a campaign, which is probably another 4 months later, you'll have to work as hard as the first time you worked to get the same audience back. What happens with digital is it's like one of those 7-Eleven stores. You know, it's open 24/7. You can walk in anytime. You can buy whatever you want. So digital holds the conversation that a brand would like to keep having with its audiences. It's a different question whether the audience wants to have a conversation with the brand. And that's sort of the theme or the topic that I would like to discuss as we go along. The other thing that people obsess over in the online space is technology. I don't think any of us as consumers or as people really care about technology. What we care about is, what does that particular technology, whether it's a gadget or it's a tool or it's an online site, what is the experience I get out of that? For example, Twitter has been in India since 2009. Okay, it really took off when? During the general elections 2 years back. Before that, very few people were on Twitter. India started tweeting in 2013. Why? Because for the first time in a very long time, India was about to elect a government which they hoped would change how India was perceived and how India was working and how it would impact their lives. So it became a matter of personal importance for people to be on Twitter and sort of say what they felt. This is another phenomenon which is taken off big time. We call it the second screen, but in reality what happens is that whatever we see on TV, and usually it's either reality shows or live events, we see it on TV, but we share our opinion about it online, on Twitter, on Facebook, but yeah, mostly on Twitter. in this scenario, what's happened in the last 5 years is that, and we've seen so many brands go through this, social media can very easily destroy a brand's reputation faster than advertising can save it. Something happens today for a particular brand, somebody tweets about a bad experience, it spreads like wildfire. Maybe the agency will take 1 month to come out with a campaign, by then the brand is probably dead. Technology can destroy the client's business faster than advertising can save it. So many examples. Pepsodent and Colgate were busy fighting the germ wars. Sensodyne came in and said, people eat a lot of different kinds of food. Junk food is increasing, which means that it affects people's teeth. So what Sensodyne did was they didn't give you a toothpaste to take care of your teeth. They created a toothpaste that allows you to keep on eating and drinking whatever that it is that you like eating or drinking. So what is Sensodyne really in the business of? Is it in the business of manufacturing and marketing toothpaste? Or is it in the business of allowing to lead the life that you want to lead, eating the food that you want? BlackBerry. Everybody was very excited. BlackBerry is there no more. Nokia. Motorola has made a comeback. So these are some of the tougher questions which nobody talks about in the overall advertising space. The role that technology, the role that social media plays in defining a brand's fortune and its future. So again, to reiterate the point, in the online space, it's not about technology, it is still about real people who are behind those screens. You need to understand their needs, their problems, and what is the kind of experiences that they want for you to create communication which works for them. So if you ask me today what is digital, if I have to define it in one line, I would say digital is behavior. So many of you here sitting on these tables are not looking at what's on the screen. You're looking at what's on your screen and you're tweeting it out. This is a real life meeting that we are having, but the expression that your expression of this real life meeting is in the online space. So digital today has become behavior. So if digital has become behavior for people, how does it impact brands? So I keep telling all my clients and people who are willing to listen to me that this whole thing of brands, digital strategy is, I think it doesn't exist. Brands don't need a digital strategy. It's like saying a brand needs a TV strategy or a brand needs a radio strategy. A strategy is a strategy. It's a strategy for a brand. How you execute the strategy on different platforms comes out of your understanding of the platforms. So if brands don't need a digital strategy, what do they need? They need a strategy for a world that has gone digital. So it all comes down to saying, if behavior is digital, shouldn't I look at how the digital space impacts my consumer behavior, my understanding of that consumer behavior, and therefore, how my communication strategy or the strategy for the brand should be rolled out. Which brings me to a very simple question. In today's day and age, what is a brand? I don't know how many of us here have read Kotler, tried to mug Kotler's definition of what a brand is and what positioning is and what marketing strategies are. But I think social media has basically put Kotler's strategy or a definition of what a brand is, it's turned it upside down. So today, I believe a brand has to basically answer 3 questions. Who am I? What do I do? Why should you care? Let me just sort of elaborate on this. Who am I is what something the marketer, the creator of that brand decides. And the brand essentially is nothing but a product which has got a personality, some clothes, a way of speaking, and a core proposition which hopefully will appeal to a large number of people, enough for it to make business sense for the marketer who's creating that brand. What do I do is the brand's sort of declaration to the world about itself. So imagine, for example, if I'm standing up on stage and saying, Siddharth introduced me, and he said, oh, this is this guy who's coming to speak about whatever I'm speaking about. But at the end of the day, as a person, I have certain values. I believe that there are certain benefits that I have with people, for people who interact with me. And I do play a role in some people's lives who are close to me professionally and personally. This is what an advertising agency does. It creates a piece of communication which declares the brand's belief or promise. The most important thing, however, in today's day and age is, why should anybody care about who I am? People will care only if who I am and what I do reflects in my behavior. If I say, for example, that I'm somebody who's very open to ideas, and when you start talking to me, you realize that I'm absolutely closed off. I'm saying something, but my behavior is saying something else. So you will not believe me. Behavior is what a brand today is struggling with, because behavior is something you can't hide. Because every brand today is out there on social media, and people are out there on social media. Anything that I do in the online space is behavior. And you will judge me. If I'm a brand and you're the audience, you will judge me by how I behave, which is the perception that a brand will end up having, where if enough people say, this brand is behaving true to what it says that it stands for, I have a good perception. If you say that this guy is all nonsense and he says something and does something else, it means that my perception outside is going to be bad. Which brings us to this question a lot of marketers are asking about brand loyalty. So for example, you look at e-commerce sites. Does any of us really care which e-commerce site we buy clothes from or shoes from? We've simultaneously got 3 or 4 e-commerce sites open on a browser. We buy what we buy based on the deal we get or the particular shoes we get. We are no longer loyal to the brand of the e-commerce site. That opens up a lot of questions. So in today's day and age, so earlier if brand loyalty was defined by how many people repeatedly buy a product and endorse it, and we've got consumer advocacy and all those terms. Today's day and age, it's expanded a little bit. Brand loyalty is about 2 things today. The product the brand puts out, which is what you buy, but a brand is not just what you buy, a brand is defined by what you buy into. The second part of brand loyalty today is the content it creates. So for the product, there are 2 kinds of consumers. The person who actually buys the product and the person who doesn't buy the product. That's the audience, right? But from a content perspective, it doesn't matter whether you buy the product or you don't buy the product. Everybody is an audience, everybody is a consumer. Which opens up a huge question mark, and which is sort of something which a lot of marketers and agencies struggle. How do I build loyalty for my content? How do I ensure that when I'm putting in so much money, and there are large marketing companies which are investing huge amounts of money in creating content, whether it's picture-based content or video content, the big question facing a brand today is, how do I define loyalty? Somebody who buys my product regularly might not consume my content. Somebody who consumes my content regularly might not be a consumer of my product. I believe the role of a blogger today comes in. Today, content, and I'm not going to talk about desktop content a lot because it is increasingly becoming irrelevant. Mobile is where the action is going to be. Mobile is where every brand is trying to get into, but most of us don't know how to get there. Because we are still doing mobile communication for us is predominantly still banner ads. 60% of those banner ads are misclicked because the size of our fingers are too large. So the precision is gone. And it's a study, it's not like a number I'm quoting off the top of my head. 60% of mobile banner ads are actually false flags. They're clicked on by mistake. So let's look at mobile content. And everybody says, everybody's excited about mobile being the primary access device to the net. Yes, it is, but it is also an extremely private device. If I walk across to anybody here, sitting here, and say, can I check my Facebook on your phone? You're going to say, this guy is mad. If I say, can I send a message to my friend? You're like, dude, I'm not going to let you even look at my inbox. The only thing you will give me your mobile for is if I'm an emergency and I say, can I make a call? Even then, you'll not hand over your mobile. You'll unlock it, open the dialer, open the dial pad, watch me like a hawk when I'm dialing, and your hand is halfway there, just waiting for me to finish the call, and you're going to snatch it from me. So what mobile communication are we talking about? Imagine if as a person, I'm standing here, most of you guys don't know me, now you sort of know there's some guy talking. If you're not going to give me your mobile phone, how the hell are you going to let a brand come into your mobile phone? So the answer is, okay, let's create apps. Come on, seriously, you want to create apps? How many of you have a brand app on your home screen? A brand app on your home screen. Can somebody put their hand up if you have a brand app on your home screen? Which app do you have? Those are functional apps. It's an app. It's an app. It's a functional app. Okay, let's name two brands that we use in our daily life. The toothpaste that you use, and say the car that you drive. If they were to create apps, would you download those apps?
Convenience, yes.
Functionality and convenience, right? Everyday usage. Yeah. So a brand trying to create an app is not going to work for a very large, to a large extent, because the second screen of your phone is like page 2 of Google search. You can hide a dead body there. Nobody goes there. Nobody goes there. You have no idea what apps are there on your phone. Each of us have at least 200 apps. The 15 on your home screen are the ones you use. So how am I going to get into the home screen of your app, of your phone? As an app, how do I get there? Nobody uses browsers on their phone. Correct? So Google search, big question mark in the future. We search within apps. So ads are gone, right? Ads are something which everybody realizes today that, yeah, mobile pe apps shayad kaam nahi karenge. Which brings me to content. Content, branded content, yes. What exactly does branded content mean? Branded content means the brand becomes the narrator, not the star of that content. The audience needs to be the star of that content. If you're creating a piece of content where the brand is a star, it's nothing but advertising. Why would I let advertising come into my phone? So, we call it micro content in the mobile space. It needs to be visual. Nobody is going to read. So, in the desktop space today, when we blog, when I ask for my brands that I handle, we handle a bunch of content platforms for some of the brands. When I talk to bloggers, I say, keep your blog article to 300 words maximum, because nobody is going to read it more than that. But I'm still only asking that for the desktop. On the mobile, nobody's going to read 300 words. I don't mind watching a 10-second video story or a picture-based story with, say, a caption and maybe 100 words. Beyond that, I'm not going to read it. So it needs to be visual. It could be a video, it could be a GIF, it could be a picture. It needs to be snackable. I don't want to sit down and have dinner and conversations with you. I want to have a cup of coffee and get the hell out. I want to have multiple cups of coffee, or I want to have a cookie. And obviously it needs to be shareable. Which brings me to the role of bloggers. A lot of you are aware of the first symbol there. It's a hashtag, right? It's one of the most dangerous things in the world. Yeah, it's because clients keep asking me, "Yeah, trend kara de. Trend kara de, yaar, mujhe trend chahiye. Viral kara de." Very, very interesting you said viral. 5 years ago, I was involved with a campaign called Kolavari. Went viral. So I had 20 calls, I counted. I had 20 calls from big-time film directors, national NCDs, and a lot of clients saying, viral kara de yaar. This has to be your second Kolavari. Boss, agar main viral kara deta, so I would be making millions, no? Why would I be working for a salary? It's like saying hit film bana do. Formula nahi hota hai, boss. There's nothing called as a viral video. So it's like saying hashtag trend kara de. We all know, we are all sitting in this room, we've all done this. You can do a hashtag trend in your sleep, right? Have 50,000, have 60,000 bucks, pay them to 15 people, 5,000 rupees, they will do 5 tweets for you. Suddenly you have 250 tweets happening, which we call a Twitter bomb, and suddenly you have a hashtag or a hashtag trend. What does it really do for the brand? It's nice to generate a report and for the brand manager and for your marketing head and for you to feel nice, we've got a trend happening. What does it really do for your brand? Nothing much. So, as a guy who runs a digital agency, my sincere request to bloggers here, please don't focus on hashtags. and trending hashtags. Focus on, the reason why I will come to you is something that I don't know or I can't do, which is understand online audience behavior. That is where your expertise ideally should lie. Whether you're a passionate full-time blogger or a blogger who's blogging on the side, you want traffic to your blog, right? Otherwise, what's the point of you blogging? Traffic will come to your blog if you write about things which your audience cares about, not things which you care about. I might care about 15 different things which have no relevance to people who I'm targeting. So the first thing is, do you understand the behavior of the audience that you're writing for? I'm interested as an agency and as a brand in knowing that. What is the specific domain expertise you bring to the table? Are you a food blogger? Are you a fashion blogger? Are you a tech blogger? There are 20 fields out there, right? If you try to be something for everybody, most likely than not, you're nothing but a Twitter influencer. And I don't know what a Twitter influencer stands for. I have lots of friends who are going to kill me after this talk because a lot of them are Twitter influencers. So I'm looking at domain expertise. I'm looking at platform expertise. Just because you have a presence online, don't try and think that you will be equally good at all platforms. So the mistake a lot of us make is, I'll be big on Facebook, I'll be big on my blog, I'll be big on Instagram, I'll be big on Twitter. Oh, Periscope, let me get onto Periscope also. I don't think it works. Pick one platform. Be an expert on that platform. As an agency, if you come and tell me this is what works on this platform, what you're thinking is wrong, I'm open to it. Because I don't know. I don't have the time, I don't have the resources to invest in understanding behavior to a very large extent. You guys are the experts there. So please don't focus on hashtag trending. The hashtag was invented to aggregate content, not to trend it. That's the real role of a hashtag. Please become experts at understanding audience behavior for the topics that you want to or you blog about. Please display domain expertise. And please be an expert on one platform. You're really, really good on one platform. If you tell me I produce the best Instagram content, I will pay you a premium. Instead of you coming and telling me, I'll do Twitter, I'll do Instagram, I'll do Pinterest, and I'll do Facebook also. I'm like, bahut zyada ho raha hai yaar. At the end of the day, the last slide of my chat comes back to what bloggers should be focusing on is, how do I influence audience behavior, which is what a brand will pay you premium for, and not how do I get your hashtag to trend. Because this hashtag trend will go out of fashion in another year. Already brands are saying, the guys who've been doing these hashtag trends for a couple of years and are saying it's not getting us anything. Because the question the brands are asking us is, how do I build business? I'm putting so much into digital, dhanda kahan se aayega? As the CMO of a very big automotive company said to me the other day in some conversation, he said, यार तुम digital agency वालों ना, मुझे कार बेचना है, microset नहीं बनाना है. ठीक है, उसको धंधा चाहिए. So I think somebody is taking a session on the business of blogging in the second half. As somebody who runs an agency, and as people in this room who are serious bloggers, if you can answer those three questions, what are you an expert at? What is the domain expertise you have? And how well do you understand a particular platform? Believe me, I'm willing to pay a premium for your work. And I'm willing to look at you as a long-term relationship, willing to sign an agreement with you for 6 months to 1 year, define the scope of work. As Anag said, very well put, don't come and tell me 5 tweets, 1 blog, 2 Facebook posts, and now tell me the money. Tell me what is the quality you're going to bring to the table. You don't need to be the biggest Twitter guy in India. Thank you.